The views expressed during this program does not necessarily represent those of really any sane person with a brain. Listening to this program may actually kill brainwaves and make you dumber than you may already be. Listener discretion is advised. Really, because this show sucks to begin with.
And here we are, my bald-headed friend.
How are you, my fellow fat friend?
I am fantastic. I am Bill Powers.
I am Porterhouse, Darren Porterhouse the Prima. How are you guys today?
And we are the Fantasy Fat Guys. You can get us on iTunes, or you want us to do Spotify?
Well, I'm just trying to keep it consistent so that we only send people to one area, but we can do iTunes, we can do Spotify.
Do you even know how to get you? You're texting me. How do I get on Spotify to see the numbers?
You are the guy that set up the accounts.
Jackass.
What am I supposed to do when you're the one that set it up?
I didn't set up Spotify.
We have a guy with a tight shirt that's going to help us get through the whole thing this weekend, I promise you.
I hope so. But anyway, we thank you for joining us. Go to Facebook, leave your comments like you haven't done so far, and chime in. Give us an idea of what you're thinking. Maybe you think we're jackasses, like our friend Gino, who let us know that we actually did forget all about Bryce Harper in the outfield.
I swear to God, I thought I mentioned him, but anyway.
I thought I did too. And he yelled at us.
But since he was the only one that listened and not us,
right?
We had to go with him.
He didn't put the Whit Merrifield. He said we didn't say Whit Merrifield. But I was leaving him for second base. That's why.
Yeah, so was I. Same boat. I was leaving him for second also.
Yeah. So screw you, Gino.
And thanks for listening, pal.
And thank you for listening.
And we'll see you Sunday at the draft.
That's right. Very much looking forward to the live draft. With the COVID crap, we haven't been able to do it. Not as big as we normally like to do it, but we're going to be together, and that's going to be kind of cool to be in the same room, and we're going to record some of that.
Absolutely. And, hopefully next year we'll be back in AC with our little rented room, having a little bit of fun, making fun of each other with all 12 guys in the room. This year we'll probably have about half.
Right. So anyway, quickly, we want to run down the fantasy stuff. We didn't do the infielders and talk a little baseball, but before we get there, couple of things going on in football. We're getting ready for the draft. We're just under a month away from the football draft. It's amazing how football is discussed 12 months out of the year now. That's like always a big thing.
It's so funny because even before we were kids, these guys used to not have full-time salaries to work second jobs in the off season. Mm-hmm. Now it's complete 12-month job. It's crazy. These guys, you know that they don't need training camp as much because they're working out 12 months a year.
Right.
And it's nuts. And one of the biggest trades two of the biggest trades ever basically have happened in the last, couple of weeks.
Yep. Once again, your New York Jets are the bridesmaid.
We are very good at finishing second when it comes to getting somebody good, unless they're past their prime, like a Brett Favre. Then we get them then,
top notch.
That's who we are. But, Tyreek Hill is a Dolphin.
Which that's not going to help anybody because Tua can't throw the ball more than 12 yards.
Well, again, in my opinion, I think there's got to be at least a legit chance that Jimmy Garoppolo ends up down from San Francisco to Miami and competes with Tua for that job.
You think so?
Well, here's the thing. You got to remember the new head coach comes from the offensive coordinator from San Francisco. He knows what Jimmy can do. Jimmy has his limitations, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't throw lollipops.
Jimmy doesn't like that. Jimmy doesn't throw lollipops.
Jimmy's down.
Seinfeld.
Exactly. But don't touch Jimmy. But I would have to imagine that they have to bring somebody in to compete with Tua. Otherwise, they're going to waste one of the 4 years they have Tyreek.
Right. Well, how much did he sign for?
His deal was ridiculous. It was $30 million a year.
$30 million. You know what? That's another thing. These guys are, you're paying Deshaun guaranteed $230 million for 5 years.
Here's what it comes down to, just on the Tyreek thing and then the Deshaun thing. When you look at what Tyreek, wide receiver is amazing. He's a super talent. As a guy that likes the Chiefs, it's very sad to see him go because he was a 5th-round pick because he had some discretions in college and stuff to that effect.
And he had some discretions during the football season as well.
He certainly did. He certainly did. I don't think anything's been proven against him since he's left college, though, so we can't comment on that stuff. But
we can comment all we want.
We can't sit there and say definitively is my point.
We can say allegedly.
Allegedly.
Like
But
allegedly,
the thing is that no New York team is ever going to be able to compete with a team from Florida simply because they don't have to pay the state tax down there.
Yep, exactly.
So the Jets would have had to up their offer by like, $25 million over the 4 years just to almost even it out. Maybe $35 million over the 4 years. Who knows? I mean, it's that much of a difference. Then New York's not going to win unless the teams are on top again. And right now, neither team is showing signs of that.
Just so you know, OJ allegedly killed his wife, Enron Goldman.
There are people that disagree with that, and he was found innocent in the court of law. I'm just messing with you right now, but but nonetheless. So we have that. Then we have Deshaun, who has 22 civil suits against him, and gets $230 million guaranteed.
Amazing, guaranteed.
Listen, no doubt he's a talent, dude. No doubt he's a talent. But I mean, and he comes off like he was a good guy until we saw these suits coming out of everywhere. But
what's amazing though, based on what these guys are doing, I heard that Javar Landry was asking for $20 million a year. A guy who can't stay on the field, constantly hurt. This guy wants $20 million.
I mean, that's what it is now. Now the wide receiver price tag is being set, and it's being set really high.
Yeah.
And, listen, as a Jet fan, I mean, the thing was the deal the Jets offered, they wouldn't have even given up either of their first round picks. It would have been kind of interesting to see.
Right.
But, what wasn't an awful deal, but it was a lot of money. I mean, the Jets are under the cap. They would have been able to do it. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it's not like the Jets are one player away.
Right.
The Dolphins are a little closer. I mean, they're just in a division where they're going up against the Bills, who it's going to be everybody's darling, even though the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl. The Bills are
here we are again, bud. Here we are again, though. They have to learn a whole new system. Coach is gone. Brand new coach.
Absolutely. It's going to be a totally different game, and you got to see the toughness on that team. They started off 1-7. Flores got a lot of credit for bringing them back, and at the same time, he got fired.
Nice.
That's for the Jets and Giants. We like to get middle level free agents every chance we get.
Any chance we can get a middle of the road guy, we are right there. And by the way, I'm really getting concerned now as a Giant fan. And I was reading something today that they may be in on one of these cornerbacks, and that concerns me because they've gotten some more depth at offensive line, but do they really get a stud from any of these guys that they've signed? Where you can sit there and say, whoa, we're good now. No. So now we're talking about trading down, which I'm okay with, by the way, because you'll still get a decent player, if you go to like 15th or something like that, and you get an extra pick next year when you might need a quarterback. But offensive line, get one of those studs on the offensive line and worry about your cornerback later. Granted, once they get rid of Bradbury, they're really screwed because now they've got nobody back there. But take care of the offensive line. It has sucked since, 2009? We can't keep avoiding it. We have to shore it up.
I mean, San Francisco has made the blueprint, right?
Mm-hmm.
That if you have strong offensive line and a strong defensive line, you can mask most anything.
Right.
I mean, listen, they had a quarterback. I mean, nothing against Garoppolo. He's a middle-of-the-road quarterback, right?
Right.
They had one really great skill player in Deebo Samuel. Kittle has kind of fallen off. And they were able to move the ball because the O-line was good. The defensive line was able to control teams where the secondary wasn't left out there to be exploited. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's something to be said about controlling both lines of scrimmage. And, you hope that the teams you root for learn from this. Unless you have Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or one of these, immensely talented quarterbacks that can kind of win it by themselves. And we'll find out more about Mahomes this year as he loses a major weapon. Well, I don't think he'll go back that far, but at the same time, it's going to be interesting to see if our teams, because we don't have that quarterback,
right,
are smart enough to realize, listen, if we can control the line of scrimmage, we can win a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
It's really what it comes down to. I actually agree with your assessment, and you're usually done with football, so this is exciting for me.
Yeah, I'm stupid. So anyway, that's our football version of the program. And draft, again, we're about 28 days away. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait. I actually love watching the first round of the draft.
Yeah, me too. It takes 15 minutes in between picks or whatever it is. And it's kind of crazy, but the anticipation of getting a supposed superstar on your team.
Yeah.
I mean, as a Jet fan, we've had many of those years where we have not gotten that superstar with that pick, but it is something that you're excited about and you hope for the best. And you just want your team to be competitive. Right now, everybody's even at 0-0, so you hope for the best.
I tell you, I'm very excited, though, that I am now the proud owner of a football stadium in Buffalo.
Congratulations.
$850 million of your and mine and all the other New Yorkers' tax dollars to finance for these billionaires a brand new stadium in Buffalo.
Listen, this is the way. This is why the rich stay rich and we stay like we are.
I mean, Buffalo's paying almost nothing for this stadium. And
this is why the rich stay rich, and here we are. This is it, because they get over on the taxpayer. A guy on Long Island like you and I are paying some money toward this stadium.
Of course, yeah. I want at least a piece of the grass or something like that. That's the least you can give me. And you're building a $1.4 billion stadium in Buffalo. You're not going to put a roof on it?
They know that if they do put the roof on it, the NFL is in control of when the roof goes up and down.
Right.
And they want the elements. I mean, listen, let's be honest. The Vikings haven't been really that good since they started to play indoors. They had the one good year.
Right.
You used to go up to Minneapolis and you'd see those old pictures of them playing in the 70s with the purple people eaters, and they were miserable. And that's what makes Green Bay so tough.
Right.
I don't know why you would take away your elements as an advantage. It's the only sport where it really works that way. Baseball a little bit because of just the size of the stadium, but football is like, come visit me in Buffalo in December. Let's see how much you like it. We're going to jump out 10-0 on you, and you're going to quit.
Nice.
In your little white uniform.
Speaking of quitting, I don't know if I can ever do a Final Four bracket ever again. God damn.
You actually beat me.
Which is not saying much, but holy crow, how everybody got wiped out. I've got nobody in the Final Four now that Arizona got knocked out. But big congratulations to the Peacocks. You're bad when you're a peacock, baby.
Well, it was National Peacock Day when they won one of the big games. Here's the thing that just happened about 2 seconds ago. Shaheen Holloway is now the new coach of Seton Hall. He has left the Peacocks.
That didn't last long.
Shaheen Holloway was a starting point guard for Seton Hall. It makes perfect sense for him to go for that bigger job. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I mean, but he did an amazing job. Listen, the NCAA tournament, I've never seen brackets blown up like this. There's only one person in our pool out of 45 people that had 3 out of 4 in the Final Four. Wow. And it happens to be my wife.
Who I'm sure really went through the brackets and went through
you have no idea how she came up with it. Her champion is out. She had Baylor, actually. Okay. But I probably because she likes Chip and Joanna Gaines, and they're from Waco. I can't think of another reason. But they got knocked out. But she had the other 3 teams, which is not impossible to have, but just kind of funny.
I think something's fixed because didn't Megan win last year?
Megan won last year, and now Margaret in the lead. Now, I post everybody's Final Four before this starts, so I don't want to hear it. And I post the 8 too, and how many 8 you had left, so I don't want to hear that. And she most likely won't win because she doesn't have the champ. But at the same time, the fact that she has the lead with 3 games to go is pretty funny.
Nice.
But college baseball, first of all, Vin Parisi from SNY, and thank you so much. The Fan, SNY, FS1, obviously covering the Big East games. Yep. He gave us awesome analysis last week. He was great. Really appreciated him joining us, and hopefully we'll get him back on as the season's about to start next year, or at least the Big East is about to kick off.
Right.
But so good things with that.
I unfortunately missed it. I was scouting my first round draft pick last week. I was down in Florida, seeing what I'm going to go with number 1. So,
what we announced on the show was the truth that you were in a hot dog eating contest in the Deep South and couldn't make it back in time.
Yeah, you know what? You're pretty accurate. You don't get much deeper south than where I was.
You were in the Deep South, my friend. But college basketball, again, wide open tournament. That's what makes it so much fun. It's one and done, and it's a bunch of kids, so anything can happen on any given night. And you saw a team like St. Peter's who, never before had a 15 seed made it